Welcome to the set, Wallace. Aren't you glad you came today?
Wow.
We're out of time.
That's the worst porno I've ever seen.
That's pretty bad, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's really good. Welcome. Glad you're here. Wallace Baine, arts writer for San
Thank you.
Sentinel is here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Been in any movies lately?
Lots.
You're a movie guy.
Yes, I am.
You do the reviews for the Sentinel and handful of other movie talk stuff.
I'm also now doing podcasts on the internet talking to people about movies, so that's fun. People can, bloviate quite a bit.
So when you're standing in line to go see the movie, you can listen to Wallace tell you about the movie.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And this is all through the Sentinel's website.
Right.
The Sentinel's website is just kind of exploded of late, I've noticed. And you have a blog there, the Epicenter.
That's right.
Did you come up with that name?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You got a problem with it?
I don't. Okay. I love it. I think it's good. What? No, it's good. How is it?
Go ahead.
What?
I was going to tell me more about movies. Is that one of the main things you write about? Is that one of your main interests?
Yeah, I've been the main film reviewer there for 137 years.
Since that first film.
Yeah, and it's really the best of both worlds because these movie reviewers who are at the big papers, they have to see everything.
Right.
And I kind of get to pick and choose, so it's great. So I don't have to go to every
piece of crap at the Nick.
Do you get to go to the festivals? I mean, besides Santa Cruz Film Festival, which I hear is outstanding.
I've been to a couple of them. It's
Have
not
you been
really
to-
my scene a whole lot.
Really?
I've been to Sundance before.
Really? Wow.
And it's disgusting.
Is it?
Essentially. It's... did you watch the Super Bowl today?
I saw part of the halftime
They're
show.
kind of the same thing.
Really? Sundance and the Super Bowl?
Corporate signage everywhere
Really?
and swag and bling.
Right.
And just,
Sundance has really, in some way, grown up beyond its independent roots and become more commercialized that way, hasn't it? Yeah.
I think the Santa Cruz Film Festival is right on that verge.
Yeah.
It's like almost...
Right.
I'm joking. I love the festival here.
Well, ever since Badass Coffee started sponsoring everything, it's like, forget it. Wallace, so in your capacity as a movie writer, have you ever had exciting interviews where you've been privy to, you've gotten to meet someone that you're a fan of or sit down and have an interview with them? You ever get to do anything exciting like that?
I interview a lot of musicians and stuff. I don't interview movie people generally because I don't... there is opportunities to do that. I just choose not to because I'd rather just be kind of a movie viewer.
Right.
But musicians that come through to town, I get to interview them quite a bit.
So any big names that you were excited about? Like somebody who you were a little bit, like a big fan of and you got to... Anybody come to mind?
Lots. The late Molly Ivins is a good one. I got to interview her a couple of
And she's a great musician.
times. Not
She just shreds on accordion. It's amazing. But you did interview Molly Ivins.
I did.
She's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And of course she passed away 3-4 days ago, and so I've been looking back at those stories a lot. And she was a hero of mine.
Yeah. What was I going to ask you? But one of the other things you've been doing now for quite some time through the Sentinel with Shmuel is the Gail Rich Awards, which I've heard a little about.
Just gotten through that. Yeah.
Just did that, and it's a remarkable event and an awards presentation, and it just happened. One of the things I want to bring up, you talked to me about Don McCaslin, who was awarded this year, well-deservingly. Don McCaslin from Warmth used to play out in front of Cooper Street. You mentioned something offhandedly at the show. We talked about this.
Yes. I'm glad you brought this up. I said kind of impromptu on stage, let's name something after this guy, right? And then I stepped off the stage and everyone was like, 3 separate people came up to me and said, no, really, that's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Let's do it. And the more you think about it, I mean, in the 1970s and 80s, Don McCaslin was the symbol of this
He's sort of become iconographic of that era.
Right, just like Robert has these days, but, you know.
Pinky.
Did you have to do that?
But he was an actual, you know.
Wallace, we don't talk
artist.
about the Umbrella Man on this.
It's one of the taboo subjects.
Talking about
that's
different
so
Robert.
weird.
He's a different Robert.
Yeah.
Right, Robert Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But
No, he was. He kind of was.
he had the iconic look with the hat and the, you know, the glasses, and
right.
I think they could really make something of that. You know, and there's a nice little plaza across from the Cinema 9.
Right.
Right, the one they're
Is
building
that a
right now.
plaza?
The one they're building on the corner right now. The
No. It's a really. There's a corner.
It's a corner.
We could say it's
a
a
mini
plaza.
plaza. It's an
deluded,
open
Wallace.
spot in the.
Well, you know, I said I would look into that, and I did a little bit of research on how it goes about naming something. And in fact, there was a naming ceremony that just took place. We have a tape we can go to in a second.
But
And we have the tape, but to set it up, there was a naming ceremony for something downtown just this weekend, and there's a process about it, you know, in how it happens, but it's definitely doable. I think it's a great idea. This particular naming ceremony happened downtown on Pacific Avenue. The mayor wasn't there to do it. Typically, the mayor proclaims and names something. The mayor and most of council, actually, they were debating something about being.
they were busy debating.
They were ordering a pizza, really, and half of them wanted anchovies and the other half didn't. So they were debating whether or not they were pro anchovy or not. But that's another story entirely. But so it went down the chain of command. So we have a tape. Maybe we can go to and see this naming ceremony that just happened on Pacific Avenue. And it was done with one of the downtown hosts who's downtown. So, Peter, do we have that tape? It was a long setup for if we don't have it.
Whereas the city of Santa Cruz has naming policies relating to all city venues, parks, streets, and other city facilities, but none for private utilitarian dispensaries. And whereas the Sentinel newspaper is printed every day and is arguably one of the top 10 newspapers in Santa Cruz County, and whereas the contributions of arts writer and guide editor Wallace Baine to the residents and visitors of Santa Cruz are countless and immeasurable, and whereas So What TV thought it would be a funny bit, therefore I, Christopher Tompkins, downtown host, hereby declare the Sentinel newspaper dispensary in front of Starbucks to be from this date forward named the Wallace Baine Newspaper Dispensary.
Cut.
Congratulations,
Yeah, and we'll
Wallace.
work on Don McCaslin's
That's nice.
naming a street or a corner.
whole box?
That one.
Just the Sentinel part of it.
Sentinel
Just
part.
the Sentinel part of it.
Yeah, because there's the Mercury, and I think the Metro has something in that. There's 4 things, but you get the Sentinel is named after
they
you.
probably wouldn't groove on
Yeah.
it.
That's no small thing.
That's no small thing. It's like a good 2 feet, or
Yeah,
several
dedicated
cubic
to you.
feet.
The back and the sides as well?
Yeah. Yeah, but you are in charge of graffiti abatement on
I
that
see.
particular piece from here henceforward.
Okay.
Henceforward.
Well, all right.
But in all seriously, I do think that's a really great idea to honor Don in that way, because he is, as you mentioned, such a symbol of really a chapter of this town, I think.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
so I think that would be. Can you get on that?
Yeah, I'll get right on that.